Hi guys, this is Letty Patino. Once again, I am doing day 3 of my 22 a day challenge. And today I have Mr. Bill Hines, also known as Dad, with us. And I'm just going to ask him a few questions about his time in the service. So, Mr. Hines, will you please introduce yourself?
I will. I'm Bill Hines. I was in the Army. I was in the Army for a few years, and we'll leave it at that. I really enjoyed my time, though, while I was in. So, yeah.
What was your job while you were in the Army?
My MOS was a mechanic. It was funny because I started as a mechanic about 5 years before I went into the service, and I really loved doing mechanics work. So when I went in as a tank mechanic, and ended up working on a whole lot more than tanks. I worked on every vehicle in the entire motor pool. And so that was pretty exciting. I was licensed for everything. I could drive tanks, APCs, I could drive Jeeps, I could drive all of it. And it was pretty exciting.
Awesome. Good work. What would you say was your biggest takeaway from your time in the service?
I think that had to be friends. I had friends before I went in the service, but it was a different type of friend. I think it wasn't those that really cared about me enough to really be there when I needed them. And I think when I got in the military, I met those guys. I met those guys that I knew that if I ever would have had to go to war, I trusted these guys completely. I trusted everything about them. We shared things that we probably wouldn't share with anybody else because we knew that we were all there for the same reason, and we knew that we could, anything could happen and we could have gone to war. We didn't. We loaded up one time on a plane, scared us, most of us half to death, but we were on our way to Iran and then ended up, it turned around, they didn't need our troops. But even in that, I knew that the people that I was going with, I trusted. So that was a pretty big deal to me. And the other thing was a little bit more in the area of like organization. I was still not a great organized person, but I have a lot more respect for the things that I have. And I didn't have that before. If I had it, I just, if I had a car, I drove it till it died. Usually because I made it die. So, having fun with it and stuff like that. But I learned more on how to respect whatever else I had. So I think those two were pretty big takeaways for me.
Those are really big takeaways. How do you think that your time has impacted your life now? Your time in the service has changed. Kind of. Do you feel like it kind of changed the course of your life?
I really do. I mean, going into the military, I was pretty heavy into drugs and alcohol. And when I got out, I realized that there was more to life as far as responsibility. And I didn't want to keep going in the direction I was going. I remember just certain things that stood out. And I just didn't want to do that kind of lifestyle anymore. I wanted to do something. I still wanted to enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I still got in trouble when I got out of the military. Nothing major, nothing like that. I didn't go to jail or anything, but it's just that, I realized that I wanted more out of life. And before I went into the military, I was like, I was a young teenager. I went in when I was 17 years old. So at that time, I was like, I didn't really even want to live, but getting out, I realized that there was a whole lot more to life. And so taking the things that I learned as far as having friendships the way that I had, more of a community, more of a mature friendship, and having responsibilities and things like that as far as being a little bit more organized, it made a big difference. I still had to struggle a lot with self-esteem problems and everything, but there's one thing you learn while you're in the military is you are somebody. And so that helped a lot. It didn't cure everything, but it set me on a path to trying to get that thing fixed. And going back to what I was saying about friends, I learned how to surround myself with people that would encourage me. And if they weren't going to encourage me, well, then I didn't hang around them. And that made a super big impact on my life. Yeah. And it really does now. because where I'm at right now, starting a business right now, I have surrounded myself with some incredible people that I don't think I could ever do this if I didn't.
Yeah.
These people are there for me. They're encouraging for me. And those times when I feel like I'm overwhelmed because there's too much going on and everything, because it's a pretty big project that I'm taking on, they're there. They encourage me, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I get to pass that along. I just had somebody that I was online with just a few minutes ago that is kind of starting a business type thing, and she's just getting started in it. And we spent almost an hour and a half just talking about details of it and just encouraging her and everything, because she feels like nobody's supporting her. And so it was nice to be able to be that support for somebody else instead of me always getting that support.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really great. Now, you have not only done photography, so you have a photography business. You also have your own health and wellness company that you run, and you've also made an impact. I think that the biggest thing that I want to point out about your life, because it's what drew me personally to you guys as a family, was your impact with foster children.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let me see, photography first, because it actually started before the fostering and everything. I got into photography. I'd already been a mechanic, and I was a mechanic for several years. Then I went into body mechanics, so to speak. I was a paramedic for 18 years. So that's kind of body mechanics, I guess, and keeping people and putting them back together and stuff. And I absolutely loved it. And again, that was part of the growing process. And then I got into photography, and I absolutely love photography. And so now I have not just an individual company, but a company that handles, I have several photographers and several editors and salespeople and everything. So it's a lot bigger than I ever imagined. I have a health and wellness business that right now I wouldn't even be here, sitting here doing this Zoom thing with you. Had it not been on, you'd be picturing me in bed. Maybe I'd still be doing the Zoom thing, but I'd be laying down. And it's because of the health and wellness business that we have now that's gotten me up and out of bed. And so I'm able to move around where I couldn't do that before. And that's been a major, major impact. That brings me to fostering, because my wife and I had decided to foster together. And we'd been doing it for a little while when I got hit with a major bout of fibromyalgia and arthritis. And it had gotten me so bad from my neck all the way to my feet that I couldn't even pick the kids up and everything. And I mean, I love kids. I really do. I worked with teenagers for over 27 years. And it really hurt a lot that I couldn't pick them up. And then in comes this new business of health and wellness. And now I pick and throw my kids all over the place and absolutely love it. And I believe we figured it was about 5 years ago, I think. I may be wrong. Nancy would correct me if I was wrong on this one, but I believe it was 5 years ago that we adopted 2 children, 2 siblings. Mm-hmm. And then 4 years ago, we adopted their sibling sister. So now we have 3 children that we adopted, and I absolutely love my kids. I never would have thought that I was going to be in my 50s and start all over again, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I got the perfect life right now.
Yeah, those kids are adorable. I love them. I miss them. My kids miss them too.
Yes, and we miss you too very, very much.
I know. And all that to say is, with the whole 22 a day challenge, is the fact that you have led a productive life. You have led a life of making a difference in other people's lives. And, all this to bring it back around to, while people might, while veterans coming back might come back feeling isolated, feeling like nobody understands them, feeling like nobody else is going through the same thing. There are many people that feel that way too. And it's a matter of just remembering that you can still live a productive life beyond that. And just, you know, I love the fact that you have been able to do that. You know, you have been able to make that difference. And, you know, you can trace back your thumbprint to that many more lives, you know.
It was many years ago, but yes, I can.
Yeah, and you know, it's just, you know, it's something that you have to kind of, I guess, it'd be nice if you could just kind of put that in people's heads and just remind them that they can make a difference, and they're not alone in this struggle, you know. And they.
Well, I think for me, when I got out, it is a big difference, and I'm pretty sure that everybody that you talk to in these 22 days, you're going to find and hear the same thing. When you get out of the military, you're so used to that kind of lifestyle, and you come back, and it's so structured while you're in there. But yet, when you come back to being a civilian, the structure's gone, and people don't think the same way as you do. And things don't make the same kind of sense to them. You know, something even as simple as a game, a board game. You know, you learned while you were in the military to take care of things, and then you come back and there's the board game is missing pieces. It's thrown all over the place. It's, you know, some of it's in one box and some of it's in another. There's CDs that are like scattered. Well, in my day, it was 8 tracks, you know, that were scattered all over the place and not taken care of. And it was really hard. That may seem trivial to some people, but when you're in the military and you've learned to have such a respect for the things that you get in life, that it does bother you. And then it bothers you that it doesn't bother somebody else. And so you get this idea of not fitting in anywhere because people are looking at you like, you know, chill out a little bit, guy. Why are you getting all, you know, I mean, those are my 8 tracks anyway. So, but it's just like you just get this feeling. And I came back to friends of mine that I couldn't believe some of the stuff that I saw. I mean, they were abusing other people and I mean, guys abusing girls and I mean, physically. And it was like, I couldn't understand that kind of thoughts going on in their head. And it's so easy to alienate yourself from that, to just decide, well, that's it. I just, you know, these are stupid people and I'm not going to deal with it and I'm out of here, you know, and then you seclude yourself in that, or you go in another direction, which I did for a while because I didn't acclimate really, really good. And so I got heavier into drinking and kind of like, okay, I'm just not going to pay attention to them. And I just, you know, I'm just going to continue to drink and drink heavy. It's not like I didn't drink while I was in the military, but you just get to where you just don't care. But that starts to leading you down to, well, I don't even belong here anymore. And I can't go back into the military. And it's just, it's a really tough spot to be. And I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to actually have been in a war and then to come back, because I have some friends that have been in war and they've come back, and to have the kind of welcome that they got, which was not nice. And then to see the homeless population of vets that have gone out there and gave me my freedom. They fought for my freedom, and yet they don't even have a house to live in. And it kind of just bothers me. And no, it bothers me a lot. That, and like what you're bringing up, just this 22 days of realizing that this thing about suicide goes on, and it's every day. And that happens, I would say 90% of the time, because they don't feel like they fit in anymore. That, you know, they've learned all this stuff that makes sense, but then it doesn't make sense to everybody else. And then the other part of it, I guess, would be, I don't know, just from a psychological standpoint, and then getting heavy into drugs and everything that just sends you down this path. Yeah. So I don't know. My advice in that situation is there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 people that you can really relate to when you get out. Surround yourself with them. There's going to be idiots when you get out. Ignore them. Move on. I've always been kind of rebellious anyway, so that made it a little bit easier for me because I didn't care too much what people thought about me. It was still in the back of my mind, but I didn't. But definitely get with those people that are encouraging. Find something productive to do. You've got skills. That's one big thing that we did in the military. I used my skills, and I felt important.
Yeah.
I felt important. And then you get out and you can't even get a job, you know, and if you do get a job, that job is like stocking shelves and stuff. Do you not realize that what I did, you know, what I was in Germany and we fought fake wars. Maybe they were fake. Maybe they weren't real. But all the stuff that we did, we acted like they were real. So had we had gone to war, maybe I don't know what that's like. You know, true war vets do. But just the idea that life matters. Life matters. And so to get out here, get productive, find things to do, surround yourself with the right people that are going to encourage you. And there are other hotlines too that are absolutely wonderful. If we ever get to that point where it's like, I can't do this anymore, you don't have that support group, call those hotlines. Something. Get online. Fortunately, we have online. We never had online when I was growing up. Get online. Grab hold of somebody. Talk to somebody. I just got finished talking to somebody today, just tonight. In that hour and a half, the words that she said after that, she said, I learned more in this little time that we spent together than I have in my life. Wow. In my life? That's some pretty heavy-duty words. That person didn't know me, but there are people out there that would be willing to do the same thing that I did for her. You know, and I'm going to support whatever she does now because I believe in her. I believe in what she's done. And I think that's what we need now. We need people to believe in us.
Awesome. You always leave me feeling better after talking to you.
Sometimes I leave myself feeling better too. Okay, did I just say that?
Right?
Wow, that was pretty good.
You wish you could write these things down, but fortunately we have it recorded, so you can go back and play it for you.
I can go back and play it. If I'm ever feeling down or anything, I'll just play it and go, oh man, I said that. I better start doing that, I guess, right? But I truly believe it. And you know me well enough that I do believe it. So.
I do know you well enough that you believe every single word. And they were wonderful words, and I thank you very much. And I'll let you go to sleep because I know you're at a 2-hour difference from me, and it's probably close to 1 a.m. your time.
It is almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock your time. So
I love you so much, girl. I love what you're doing.
I love you too. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye.